We hate the word debt, but the uber elites love it. But why do the rich need to borrow money? Isn't debt for the people who don't have enough money? Welcome back, hustlers, to another episode of Just Hustle. If you're not subscribed yet, you are missing out. So hit the like and subscribe button and let's dive right in. What if we told you that the richest institutions in the world made most of their fortune using someone else's money? It doesn't matter if it's the government, Elon Musk, or even Apple. Every big player is using debt today to grow their wealth exponentially. And surely, there is something for us to learn. So stick to the end of the video to learn how you can apply it in your hustle. Here are 5 ways the rich use debt to make a killing. Number 1. Trade runs on debt. Most people take up debt that keeps them running behind money instead of doing their jobs. Whether it's student loans or credit card debts, we are constantly dreading the ever-increasing bills we need to pay at the end of the month. The rich, however, use their debt to focus on running their business without constantly worrying about payments. Businesses today run on what is called a credit cycle, where a buyer purchases goods from a supplier without paying cash upfront and paying the supplier at a later scheduled date. Let's take an example where you own a shoe store and have found a factory in China that supplies the right quality of shoes, which you can sell at your store. You would purchase a large quantity of shoes, have them shipped to your store, and distribute and sell them to your clients. Today, this is mostly done through websites like Alibaba, so that you don't need to directly interact with the factories. But by using this credit, you don't actually have to buy the product. Instead, the factories will lend you the product and trust you to make the payment in the future. This allows you to receive a stream of income that can retroactively cover the cost of goods sold, ensuring your money is not tied up and letting you focus on just selling the goods. Number 2. Refinancing. When we think about loans, we think about banks. And while banks are the biggest lenders, they lend none of their own money. Shocking, right? Since the beginning, banks have done business with the simple philosophy of move money from those who have excess of it to those who need it. We got Robin Hoods in banks. It's simple to see that they borrow money at a low interest rate, lend it at a higher interest rate, and make profits on the difference. But we fail to see what happens after that. Imagine, Alex deposits $1,000 in a bank and the bank lends it to Bob. Now Bob uses the money to buy equipment from Charlie. Now most of us would stop here and think that's about all the bank could make on $1,000. But what does Charlie do now? Charlie, who now has money after paying out his expenses, would deposit it again with the bank, giving them a chance to lend it out again. This process keeps repeating, and the banking system ends up loaning out multiple times the initial deposit it received, making profits on every transaction and increasing its customer count by simply circulating the money. Number 3. Using your credit worthiness. People deposit money in the banks because they trust the security and safety the banks offer. Similarly, banks like to forward the loan to someone who will safely and consistently pay them back. That's why it's so important to build goodwill for your business and improve your personal credit score. So how do rich people use their credit scores? Let's say that Bob has no credit history, which means that he has not taken bank loans earlier and repaid them. Bob also does not have a successful business, which makes the bank offer him a loan at a steep 12% interest rate on his home loan. Instead, Bob approaches you for debt so that he can construct his dream home. You know that Bob is a good person, and you decide to borrow the money on his behalf. Because you have a history of repaying your debts, your credit score is good, and the bank offers you a loan at 5% interest. You then ask Bob to pay you 8% interest. So now, you make 3% of the total transaction using your own credit score. Of course, there's always the risk that Bob is not as good as you thought he was and does not repay his loan, and you are left indebted to the bank. Number 4, hedge funds. Hedge funds are for the rich, by the rich, and to make the rich richer. Today, information is the moneymaker, and the rich have first access to it. While most of us invest in company stocks in the hopes they will rise, hedge funds take a more critical approach. Let's take a hypothetical scenario to see how hedge funds use leverage. Reports break the government has imposed huge fines on Walmart and raised the minimum wage by 10%. You are working for the fund, and you know this news will affect Walmart's margins and will definitely affect the share price. You go to your broker and borrow $100 worth of Walmart stocks and sell it. You now have $100, but you will need to return the shares to your broker with a brokerage fee. Let's say you're right. And the next week, Walmart's stock price plummets to $70. So now you go buy Walmart stocks and give it back to your broker. In this process, you have made a neat profit of 30%. This strategy may seem simple, but it does come with risks. Walmart stock can rise overnight if there's positive news from the company. You still have to return the shares with interest to the broker, and you will lose money in this process. Most hedge funds require you to put up a certain amount of money with them in case you play a losing bet. Number 5, Forex trading. As you know, there is a global market for currency exchange of different countries. Depending on different government policies, geopolitical events, supply and demand, among other things, the values of these currencies fluctuate against each other. For example, if the US government raises the price of bonds, more people will buy the US dollar, which will increase its value and make it more valuable than other currencies. Now, how does debt come in here? What makes these markets different from other exchanges is that for every dollar you spend trading Forex, you can borrow $100 to trade. Since there is such a large volume of transactions in the system, it is difficult for the wrongdoers to influence the price of the currency. In addition to these markets being less volatile compared to the stock market. For example, if you decide to invest $1,000 of your money, you can borrow up to $100,000 and buy your preferred currency and start trading. A 1% increase in the value of your currency against the dollar can lead to a 100% return on your initial investment. Similarly, a decrease in the value of your purchase will result in a significant loss. Most rich people have gotten rich by emulating those they look up to, and surely seems to be working. You might be slowly building a sum that will enable you to start your hustle, but why wait when that amount is out there for you to take? The rich do it, so why can't you? What would take you years to do with your own money can be done in weeks with someone else's. So go grab that cash. Thanks for watching, hustlers. We always appreciate your thumbs up so we can reach out to more hustlers out there. And don't forget to subscribe for more great videos.